Hello, welcome to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host, Iggy. Yay. Thank you for that. Well, hi, guys. It's been a while, hasn't it? A minute and a half at least. And I'm glad to have something to present to you. It's been a while. What happened is I gone through all my storage, and there's just a couple boxes left in there that I couldn't really get to. So perhaps when I move, we can cover those things. Meanwhile, we've got these things here. These are a couple things I picked up on eBay recently, and I wanted to share them with you. So, what do you think? You want to take a look? Okay. By the way, thanks for coming back. I know I've lost some of you because it's been a while since I've posted, so I'm grateful that some of you have stuck around a little bit longer to see what I'm up to. And today we're going to go back to the Old West. Now, this is a picture from one of my books. This is the frontispiece, I guess they call it, or front piece. And it's a photograph of a town, I think in Montana or Wyoming or one of those places. And the railroad bypassed it, and the town, they all packed up and left. And look at they left these artifacts here. They got wagons. There's a wagon in the background there. Wagon wheels. It's pretty cool. Some wagon buckboard way back there in the distance. Can you imagine you're walking along and come across this? You'd probably be spooked out a little bit, thinking that you ran into literally a ghost town. Now, I've seen a town like this. I went to with my sister and her husband, Jim. Jim took us to a place called Bodie, Bodie, and it was a mining town in California on the other side of Yosemite. And it looks quite a bit like this, although there's fields and fields of flowers. It's actually, when the flowers are blooming, it's quite pretty and stunning, all the color. But the town looks like this, and there's a hotel that's leaning like, and it looks like if you jumped on your bed, you'd probably crash through the floor. But it's pretty awesome. I would recommend if you're in Yosemite that you take the extra trip to go to Bodie, which is right next to Yosemite on the other side of the mountains. So I got some things that are unidentified. They're just merely states that it's made in Hong Kong. These are affectionately known as Hong Kong ripoffs, or knockoffs, rather. And that happened quite a bit with Timpo and Britons and whatnot, because they were manufacturing them in Hong Kong, so it'd be real easy for somebody in Hong Kong to do that. I don't know if that's still the case now that Hong Kong is no longer a British colony. I know that the people of Hong Kong were really upset when the British left. And, a lot of people say, oh, colonialism is bad. Oh, colonialism, that's evil. That's racist. The people in Chinese Hong Kong were begging the British to stay because they knew what was coming, and that was the communists. And of course, the communists started arresting people and throwing them in jail and torturing them, and anyone who talked about freedom would be killed. So ask them, would you rather the communist flag or the British Union Jack? They would gladly pick the Union Jack. But I guess the narrative nowadays is that all colonialism is evil, even though it brought schools, universities, aqueducts, dams, public projects, security, trade, all those bad things that nobody wants, right? Did you guys ever see, I'm really straying this time. Which one was it? The Life of Brian, Monty Python's Life of Brian, and the revolutionaries or the Jewish revolutionaries are all sitting around a table saying, "What have the Romans ever done for us?" And someone raises their hand and said, "Well, they brought a really nice sewage system." "All right, apart from the sewage, what have the Romans ever done for us?" And then the list kept getting longer and longer and longer until you realize that the Romans did quite a bit. However, for the sake of being accurate, the Romans also killed most of them and took their country away from them and threw them to the winds. What do they call that? The diaspora? Is that what they call that? Where the Jewish people were exiled to various parts of the Roman Empire. They had a very strong will to survive, and that's why they're still around, even though there's been a lot of people trying to kill them off. Anyway, enough of that. I don't want to get into that because some of you are going to go, "Oh, that Iggy is so wrong. I'm going to have to cancel him. I'm going to write a letter to my congressman." And he'll say that you got to vote for me. Anyway, I was trying to think of that song by The Who. I went to my cousin and he said, "Son, you're too young. I'd like to help you, but you're too young to vote." Something like that. The Who Live at Leeds. That's a great album, you guys. I'm really straying. Sorry. Let's get back to this. Iggy gets off on these tangents. Okay, now, there's no date. I searched the packaging. It has a little message here saying caution, not for children under 3. It says it's made of durable plastic, authentic action models, interchangeable parts, and non-toxic colors. However, what it does not have, other than made in Hong Kong over here, is a date. So looking at this, I would surmise that this is from 1970. And one of the things that leads me to believe that is there's no UPC, Universal Product Code, anywhere on the box. The Universal Product Code was invented in 1973 and started being used on packaging in March of 1974. At first, it was not accepted by merchants. They didn't like it because a lot of times changes come along and people just simply don't like it. But eventually it caught on, and now everything has a UPC number. In fact, I've seen science fiction movies where they tattoo a UPC number on someone's neck. What was that? The 12 Monkeys? That was a weird movie. I had a hard time keeping up with it, but when I finally figured out what was going on, I thought it was pretty interesting. These, of course, are all Tempo ripoffs. I have one of these somewhere, but I might have sold it on eBay because I did not find it when I went through everything. I don't care for this. It's a buggy. It has a woman sitting in, not a swap it type figure, but a solid figure of a woman sitting in the back. And then it has a swap it figure as the driver. And it also came, I think, with a Native American over here. But I don't think he's a swap it either. It's hard for me to see. The window of this window box is pretty dusty and in poor shape. You can see that it's not doing too well. So if you like Tempo wagons, though, this would be a kind of a cool thing to pick up. Okay, that's it for the Tempo buggy. Excuse me, for the Hong Kong Tempo knockoff buggy. I was thinking about painting this black. What do you think? Um, it's actually lime green with a yellow base, but I thought if I painted it black, it would look more like a buggy, I would think. Maybe paint the wheels yellow? I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I paint it? I don't know. We'll see. All right, so let's take next a look at this Wild West Bank by Britons. And this, I really love these. I wish I had more of these. Now, I do have one of these banks that I bought assembled, and it's missing the dent. It's supposed to be a dentist sign right there. This one's slightly different than the one I have. The packaging is different. I like the packaging where it has a flap on the box. So you open it up and it's got a large picture of the model kit. And it's pretty cool. These boxes are rather small. It's surprisingly heavy, guys. It originally came with 2 figures, which you see here on the box, here and here. However, when I was disappointed when I checked through this and discovered that it had neither one. Now, this does have a price tag on it. And it shows, is that in focus? $21.95. Now, that sounds like a 1990s price, so I looked at the instructions inside the box, and it indicated that this was manufactured in 1995. The other ones with the flap boxes, I think, came much earlier. And I remember being in a small tourist town called Solvang, California, and it was a Danish, people would call it tourist trap. I think that's an unflattering term. I think it's a fun place to go. So why call it a tourist trap? I don't get that. But anyway, what those people did, and what they did, I think was very smart, is they focused in on that the town was originally founded by settlers from Denmark, and they had a typical 1950s strip mall, and they started to change the architecture to make it look more like European Danish architecture. And then new buildings that came into the town had to conform with what people expect to see when they think of Denmark. And the town has grown quite a bit since those days. And they have some great restaurants there. There's a restaurant I like to go there called The Little Mermaid. And it's got some great food. In fact, me and my friend went to go up there, and we walked in at 8 o'clock. And I said to the girl working the counter there'd be 2 of us. And she didn't bat an eyelid or anything. She sat us at a table, and the whole place was empty. And that's when I finally became socially aware and asked her, "What time do you close?" And she said 8 o'clock. Do you know they served us a full-on meal and everything, despite the fact that they had closed? I thought that was pretty cool. I gave her a very generous tip, because I thought that was awesome that they did that. Anyway, let's take a look at the inside. It says that it's supposed to be like a snap-together kit. And is this going to open? Oh. Now, what's funny about this is there's an extra set of instructions for a saloon. And I would have liked to have the saloon. They call it the Golden Nugget Saloon, and it's shaped differently than, like, it has a porch area up here with a railing, and then this part is squared off. Is there a pic? Oh yeah, you can see a picture of it. No, I guess it's round. Is that the saloon? Anyway, all the buildings they offered is in this illustration. They had an Adobe style or New Mexican style sheriff's office, a bank, a saloon, and a hotel. There was also a livery stable, a ranch house, the typical Western things. Let's take this out and let me see if this box has a date on it. I thought the instructions said it's probably here. All this small print. That it was 1995. All right, I'm not wearing my reading glasses, so this is not going to happen, guys. Whoa, all I see is tiny little figures. Well, here's one of the sides of the building. Here we go. So you can get an idea of the size of it by my hand here. And this is the front, of course, of the bank. And here's all the other pieces over here. There's actually quite a number of pieces here. As you can see. I think you guys would probably like to see what it looks like assembled, and I do have one. So let's take a look at that. Let me stand up here. Oh, that's hard for me to do. All right, let's go over here. Here it is assembled, guys. And I kind of painted it weirdly. Like I mentioned, mine was missing the dentist sign that's supposed to hang here. It's somewhat of a small scale because if this is a bank and has a dentist's office, an assay office, it's kind of small for all that activity. That's a building that I made from different parts of a toy. I put them together and made a 2-story building. And this is a Marx cabin from the 1950s, believe it or not. But let's turn this around so you can get an idea of what the entire structure looks like. There you go. Basically, I think this other side looks plain or has a window or something. No, it's just plain, see? So that's the bank. Now, I highly recommend these buildings, but gosh, guys, they are expensive. And I think I was telling you about Solvang, and then Iggy completely lost his train of thought. In fact, my train was derailed. Someone left a penny on the track. Is that a myth, by the way? That trains are... That seems like a tiny thing to derail a train, but don't do it, though, guys. Please, we have enough trouble in the world right now without things like that. Okay, so there you go. The Wild West Bank by Britons, and they have other things. Now, I had mentioned Solvang. Why did I mention that? Because I went into a toy store there, and they had all of their buildings on clearance. And my wife said to me, oh, you should get these. And I said, oh, no, I don't want that. I only collect Army Men and Star Wars. I don't want any Western stuff. And of course, now I love Western stuff, and I could have had all the buildings for really cheap. You can see here it was $21.95. Well, they were selling them for like, I don't know, some outrageously low price, like $8 or something. I can't remember exactly now. It's been quite a while. But I should have listened to my wife. Heck, if I'd listened to her, I wouldn't be divorced, would I? Well, no, I still would be. When Denise left me, she said, I said, why? Why are you doing this? And she says, because I think you're ugly. And I'm like, well, that should do my ego some good. You're ugly. Anyway, that's just the way it is. Okay, guys, that's all I've got for you this time. I want to thank you for coming along, and it's nice to see all of you again. I hope I didn't turn off some of you with what sounded like I was trying to be political, but I was talking history and not trying to make a political statement. I try and stay away from stuff like that in my videos because what I want you to do is enjoy the toys, and hopefully my stories, which are quite tedious at times, don't get in the way of that. So I apologize for that, but not for the toys. The toys speak for themselves. Okay, guys, that's all we got this time. I want to thank you for joining the Iggy Army and getting Iggy with it. And it's nice to be back. Iggy's back, and there's gonna be some trouble. Hey la, my Iggy's back. And he still can't sing. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let's sign off. Why don't we get some orange creamsicles at the drugstore or the liquor store? They have ice cream and popsicles and whatnot. Although the temperature in Jacksonville right now is like 37. How do the palm trees survive? Jacksonville has a lot of palm trees. And I wonder, how in the heck does a palm tree survive when it's 37 outside? Now, the coldest I've ever seen it get here in Florida since I moved here 16 years ago was 22. It got down to 22. And I did see it snow, but it melted as soon as it hit the ground. So it looked like someone was shaking a powdered donut and watching the powdered sugar come down, but it all disappeared. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Thank you. If I don't post another video before Christmas, I want to say Merry Christmas to all of you, and I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And I know that other countries do celebrate like a fall festival, and Canada, I think, has a day like similar to Thanksgiving, but it's on a different day, like the 1st of November or something. I'm not sure, but every country has something like that, and those kind of traditions I think are important for everyone because it makes you feel traditions and customs and things like that can make you feel good. The continuity of civilization over the centuries. It's a comforting thing. Anyway, that's it for me, Iggy. Happy trails to all of you. And if I don't see you again soon, well, by golly, Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 ho. Sorry, Iggy got carried away.